Hello there everybody, how's it going and how have you been? I am EuclideanSqd, and we're back here in Duel Links to go over a very special sort of event. As you can see in the background, we currently can participate in the Tag Duel Tournament. Now this event is pretty different from just about any other event that's been running since I started recording this game. It's similar to the sort of token event duelists in that you receive tokens, in this case they're called friendship letters, from just dueling like normal, but instead of using those to duel against a specific event duelist, you use them to duel in the Tag Duel Tournament. Now, specifically what is special about the Tag Duel Tournament is that, as the name implies, you are teamed up with an AI partner as the two of you duel against two AI opponents. And it basically works like this. You and your partner share one field, but your decks in your hands are kept separately. So when it's your partner's turn, they can use any cards you may have set on the field, and likewise when it's your turn, you may use any cards they have on the field. Your graveyards are unified, but you can't see or really interact with any cards in their hand. Well, I think you can see your partner's hand, but you can't take a card out of their hand and play it yourself. Now, this is the second time the Tag Duel Tournament has come around. It did show up quite a while ago, actually, and the AI was a little iffy in that circumstances. One of the changes they did for this time, however, is that once you do finish one particular cup or difficulty level all the way through, you can toggle control for your AI partner on or off. So instead of you trying to cooperate with the computer, you can just control the computer's deck as though you just had two decks that are being swapped out every other turn. Now the turn order specifically goes you, then one of the opponents, then your partner, then the other opponent, and then back to you. So there will be some time before you yourself can react to what's going on in the duel. And specifically there are three difficulty levels. There is the Karibo Cup, which is the easiest, and then there is the Neos Cup, which is sort of medium difficulty, and then the Blue Eyes Cup, which is hard. And each cup has you partnering up with a different AI partner. Specifically, I believe that the Karibo Cup you get Yugimoto, in the Neos Cup you get Jaden, and in the Blue Eyes Cup you get Mokuba. And by clicking the tips you can see what their deck is sort of designed around, so that you can try to build a sort of co-optional partner deck to theirs. But if this tournament plays out anything like the last one, that's more difficult to do than I feel is worth it, so just bring in a good sort of standard all-around deck and the AI will be able to make most use of it. Do not try to bring in very specialized ladder decks, because again the AI will have control over your cards every other turn, and it may well do something stupid with the card that you were trying to save, so just fair warning on that. In addition to participating in the tag duels and getting rewards along the way, specifically as you can see here, for beating the Karibo Cup, first 5 wins I'll get 20 gems, 50 rare jewels, a copy of this new card, Rallis the Starbird, then 15 EX jewels, and then a copy of Searchlight Man. And then the second time through I get different rewards, third time through I get still different rewards, and same thing for the Neos and the Blue Eyes Cup. But in addition to those, you get, I think they're called Tag Duel tokens, and you spend those in a lottery similar to the Duelist Chronicles. Now, much like the last Duelist Chronicles, we do get 10 free pulls from the lottery, but the lottery itself actually has some really good cards, and you get a lot of tokens for dueling. Like, specifically, I think it's every 100 points you get on your duel assessment becomes 1 token. I think that's the ratio. I'll look that up in just a second, but as you can see, we've got this new ultra rare Prime Material Dragon that basically converts any sort of effect damage into healing for both you and your opponent. And likewise, if a card or effect that would destroy a monster on either field is activated, you can choose to send a card from your hand to the graveyard to negate the activation. We've got a pretty strong Evil Swarm here, who basically can just tribute himself to destroy any face-up monster your opponent controls. You have a new fusion monster for the elemental heroes, Shining Flare Wingman. A little bit more difficult to summon, but in addition to dealing damage to the opponent equal to the attack power of whatever monster it destroys, it also gains 300 attack for every elemental hero in your graveyard. And considering it's a fusion of Sparkman and another fusion monster, Flame Wingman, who himself is 2 other fusions, if you go the double fusion route, that's 4 elemental heroes, bare minimum, in your graveyard. Which means Flare Wingman will have 3,700 attack points. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at this card. Otherwise, most of these are going to be cards that were in previous lotteries, like the Duelist Chronicles. I'll go ahead and grab my 10 prizes at the end. But for now, I think I've yet sort of rattled on enough. Let's just go ahead and jump into our first tag duel. And yeah, as you can see here, I believe because I'm player number 1 for my team, I get turn 1, and then, like I said, one of the opponents takes their turn, my partner takes their turn, the other opponent takes their turn. Now, the one annoying thing, or I guess not really annoying thing, but basically is if my team goes second, I don't get to go first on my team. Like, basically, if my opponent's team goes first, when control switches to me, it switches to my partner. Like, you'll see when it happens, but basically, if you go second, you're going to have to wait out your AI partner's turn before you can do anything. But on the plus side, you have a combined total of 6,000 life points instead of just 4,000. Now, like I said, enough yammering. I'm going to go ahead and pick level 40 difficulty, just because that gets me a bonus 1,200 duel assessment points at the end of the game. And let's load in. Now for this deck, I basically just dug out an old Gem Knight monster deck, primarily because I remembered that it did fairly well in the previous Tag Duel event, and ideally it'll help out here. So let's see what we got. Okay. Send for hand. Okay, so I'm going to set my trap polymerization. I'm going to set security orb. There's no point in summoning Milla because I can't use their effect to look at a set card because they haven't had a turn to go. So I'm just going to end my turn, and let's see what happens. Now, he is going to summon a Thunder Dragon, or he's going to discard a Thunder Dragon and get some more Thunder Dragons. And he just ends his turn, so I'm not going to waste my trap card to fuse. I'm just going to let Yugi do what he needs to do. And he's going to tribute my Gem Knight to summon a Silent Swordsman. I'm actually okay with that. Now the Kribo Cup I'm not expecting too much difficulty out of, just because it's the easy difficulty, and in these Duel Links events, easy difficulty tends to be a bit of a pushover if you have even just a half-decent deck. Let's see here. I need to double check. So, Seraphonite has 2,300, and right, she just lets you normal summon an extra time regardless of what monster you have. So I'm going to go ahead and just fuse for her. There's Milla and Tourmaline, summon Seraphonite. And then, yeah, I might as well just have Silent Swordsman attack. While I could get a direct attack with him instead, I don't have the next level of Silent Swordsman in my deck to evolve him with. Hopefully Yugi does, but I don't know if he does or not. Doesn't matter because we win. And there you go, that's the basics of a Tag Duel Tournament. Now I'm definitely not going to leave the episode off there. I'm going to go ahead and play the Kribo Cup all the way through at least once. Maybe give the Neos Cup a try, see how it goes. But then I'm going to grab a whole bunch of prizes out of the prize pool and see what we get. So that's 20 gems. It's an interesting pair. Oh yeah, because I haven't really done anything yet in here. It's making me do the lottery just as a tutorial, even though it's very obvious. You push a button, it takes 30 coins, and you get a prize. And you know what? Let's just get the free 10 prizes now. Let's see if we get anything rare. We are getting something rare. We got a rare card, super rare or an ultra rare, and we got Triamid Pulse, which I already have 3 copies of because of the previous lotteries. Okay. Oop. I pushed the wrong button. Hold on. There we go. Alright. That is one thing about the Tag Duels. In the previous tournament, they usually paired up sort of like-minded partners or characters that had, you know, some kind of relationship in the anime. So, for example, Joey and Mai were a partner. I believe in the last battle for the hardest cup was actually against Yami Yugi and regular Yugi, which was actually kind of cool. But it's also, you know, Seto and Mokuba, Weevil and Rex, you know, typical pairs, so it's actually kind of weird seeing Mako partnered up with Odeon, but whatever. Let's see, can't do anything with my polymerization, and I keep grabbing the camera instead of my cards. So I'm just going to go ahead and summon Sardonyx in attack mode, just because it has so much more attack than defense. He's going to hide. What's Yugi going to do? Okay. So even though these are level 40 difficulty AI opponents, not necessarily the most difficult of challenges regardless. Who can I fuse for? You need Tourmaline, you need Garnet. Hey, are you a Pyro? Oh, you are a Pyro. Okay. Is there a reason to fuse for you? Because you're a Pyro? Yeah, there's no reason, because you'll just get weaker too, so forget it. I'm just going to summon Gem Knight Emerald and almost get lethal. But basically, if another card of theirs goes to the graveyard, Skull Invitation is going to kill him for me, so whatever. We win. So yeah, the Karibo Cup's not going to be difficult at all, even on level 40. So... also, there's really no particular reason I picked Chaz over anyone else for the Gem Knight deck, really. I mean, he does have the Draw Sense low-level skill, which can help in a bind, but the main reason I picked Chaz is just because I happened to be leveling him up at the time for just more level-up rewards, primarily gems. So, I figured just slap a deck on him, simple fix. I'm lazy, I know. The other thing I did want to mention, because I remembered just now, actually, you can get a special icon, card sleeves, and duel mat from this event by, I believe it's from beating the Karibo, Neos, and Blue Eyes event either 2 times or 3 times each, one of the two. I'm going to summon Tourmaline, and if they try to go after him with something bigger, I can just go ahead and fuse for Seraphinite really quick. And I say no to this. Now Yugi's going to get 2 normal summons on his next turn, or his first turn, I guess, which will put us in a great strategy, or a great spot. Nothing I really need to do other than just have everybody attack. We win. Yeah, these Karibo Cup duels, I'm just going to steamroll through. I mean, I already did 3 in, what, 14 minutes, 15 minutes? And as for the friendship letters, like I said, you do get a bunch from just doing regular duelists and the Vagabond and whatnot in Duel World. You get them from doing PvP duels, and additionally, you can also get up to 30 bonus ones per day just by participating in 3 PvP duels. Specifically, those are bonus missions you have to redeem, and they reset every night at 11:59. So make sure you grab them by then, because I happen to forgot to grab my 30 for today. So, oh well. I like that they're being more interesting with the legendary duelist matchups. First it was Mako and Odeon, now it's a Shizu and Mai. Excuse me. Still probably gonna crush him, to be honest, but and I keep grabbing the camera. I just now realized that I did forget to actually show my deck. I'll go ahead and do that after this duel, but it'll actually, you know, it'll just be down in the corner. I may use this deck in a later video, and at that point I will go over it in more detail. So you will definitely see it then. Wow, he actually has Monster Reborn. There's no way they're releasing that card to the public. Who's that, Harpy Dancer? Oh, okay. So she summoned Mist Valley Watcher. Oh, and then returned it for Mist Condor. Oh, so they had a higher base attack, but then didn't attack Tourmaline because we have a 3800 attack point monster on the field. Now, in that case, let's just go ahead and actually, I'm going to fuse for Topaz this time, just because I really like Topaz. Specifically because it gets to attack twice every battle phase, and it does damage equal to whatever monster it destroys, the attack of whatever monster it destroys. So, another easy win. And, hell with it, I'll just show it on screen really quick, even though it'll bend in the corner. Tristan and Joey. Kind of a cool pair for the final. Anyway, this is the deck that I'm using. It's pretty much all Gem Knights plus Mila the Temporal Magician, just because Seraphonite needs a light monster to fuse with, and there are no light Gem Knights. Well, I think there's one, but it's like an 8-star and I didn't want to use it. Basically, I picked Mila because when it's normal summoned, I get to target a set card my opponent controls and take a look at it, and they can't activate spell or trap cards in response to her. Then we also have Emerald, who can revive a Gem Knight fusion from the graveyard. We haven't seen Lazuli yet, but whenever she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, like being fused with, I can target a normal monster in the graveyard and send it back to my hand, like any of the other Gem Knights. Sardonyx, who is a Gemini. If I choose to Gemini summon him, I get to add a Gem Knight card from my deck to my hand whenever it destroys a monster in battle. Garnet's just a normal monster with 1900 attack. Tourmaline has 1600 attack and 1800 defense. And then I have 2 polymerizations, 2 of the special particle fusion card, which is a special version of polymerization specifically for Gem Knights. I have to send Gem Knights from my field, or the monsters that I fuse with have to be on my field. I can't use monsters that are in my hand. But in exchange for that, when I finish fusing with Particle Fusion, this card banishes itself from my graveyard. I target the Gem Knight fusion that was summoned with Particle Fusion, or, hold on. No, I'm sorry. I target one of the fusion materials used in the fusion summoning, and the monster I summoned with it gains attack equal to that monster's attack until the end phase. So, for example, if I were to fuse Tourmaline with Mila to create Gem Knight Topaz, I could make Topaz gain Tourmaline 1600 or Mila's 1800, and effectively he could be a 3600 attack point monster that can attack twice on that first turn, and deals effect damage equal to the attack power of the monster it destroys in battle. So that gets pretty nasty. I have Security Orb for defense. Basically, I just activate it when my opponent's monster declares an attack, and it changes them to defense position. Plus, if it's destroyed while face down, I get to destroy... Well, hold on. If it's destroyed by a spell or trap card that my opponent controls while it's face down, I get to just destroy any monster on the field. And then, as you might have seen, I have this Pyroxene Fusion, which is basically just polymerization in trap form, only for Gem Knights. But then Seraphonite gives you an extra normal summon each turn. Citrine basically says that my opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step whenever it attacks. Topaz gets to attack twice and does the whole attack burn. And then the other one that I have is Gem Knight Ruby. Once per turn, I contribute another face-up gem monster, and he gains attack power equal to that tributed monster's attack power, plus he gets to do piercing battle damage whenever he attacks. So pretty nasty fusion monsters, fairly decent deck for in-game stuff, but enough about that. Let's just go ahead and beat these two and complete the Karibo Cup. Not expecting too much trouble. They probably have some fairly decent strategy, but if they're anything like the other 4 duels, not going to be a problem at all. Well, they do have a skill, so that is something. Yep, and there you go. As you see, because my team went second, Yugi gets to take his turn before I take my turn, so... Battle Warrior? Can remove from play 1 monster from your graveyard to null summon or set 1 normal monster from your hand. Okay. So they have a 1700 attack point monster in play. Cool. Well, that's why I like my trap card fusion. So you are 2400 because of the field spell. So I'm going to go ahead and security orb you, actually. And then before they get a chance to end the turn and Yugi gets to take over, I'm going to fuse Mila and Tourmaline together so that he gets the extra normal summon. I might have been able to wait and summon Mila and then use Particle Fusion. I didn't think he would tribute the Fusion Monster. I thought he would tribute Tourmaline, but I didn't think he would tribute the Fusion Monster. So, sure. Thanks, Yugi. And that will make replaying the cups a lot easier when you do get to take control of your AI opponent's deck and cards as well. Just, you know, because then they don't do stupid shit, like tributing the Fusion Monster that gives you a bonus Fusion summon each turn. So, I can't, because I only have the 1 Seraph Knight in my Fusion deck. I don't have any other Gem Knights to fuse with. So there's no reason to summon Mila, because she can't do anything, so I'm just going to end my turn. Okay, so we've got 2 Silent Swordsmen. It's fantastic, Yugi, but their dragon is still 100 attack points stronger. This is actually a little bit of a pickle. I probably should have saved Tourmaline. Why would you... Now he's going to do even more damage, Yugi. Ay, ay, ay. This card is sent to the graveyard by card effect. Now, I'm going to summon Mila. I am not going to flip Silent Swordsman face up. I'm going to take the 600 damage. I need one of my Gem Knight fusion. I need more of my Gem Knights. I need to draw one of my regular fusion cards. Or you could just do that. That'll work. Never mind. Get another Lazuli. Great. No, I'm not going to summon her. Just going to attack with the Silent Swordsman. And then we win. Cool. Alright, so it got a little hairy there where I thought while it got a little hairy there while the Thousand Dragon was in play, just because Yugi was kind of an idiot and tributed a good fusion monster, but managed to come out on top. And get a little congratulations from your partner. Yeah, beat each cup 3 times and you get the card sleeves, the game mat, and the icon. So, considering how simple most of the duels in the Karibo Cup were, I want to go ahead and have at least one duel in the Neos Cup. No, Chaz and Cyrus, that's an interesting pair. And I'm expecting a little bit more of a challenge from these guys. But we will see. Oh, actually you don't get to see the cards in your ally's hand. I just noticed that actually, so... Alright. I can't use your effects, and you're a fire, so I can't fuse you with any of my Gem Knights. So... Actually, there is something I can do, though. I will fuse for Gem Knight Ruby by fusing Garnet with Lazuli. And then I'll activate Lazuli's effect to take Garnet back, and summon him. Alright, let's see what you got. Nothing, huh? Okay. Fair enough. But we still win. One more duel. One more duel in the Neos Cup, and then I promise I'll call it there. Yeah, so even though this is going to be the last duel for the video, that is the basics of the Tag Duel Tournament. Really fun event, honestly. I really liked it the last time it came around, aside from just the AI being kind of stupid sometimes. But honestly, this is a really fun change of pace, and it's a really nice diversion. I'd like them to do more with Tag Duels in the future. I don't know exactly how easy it would be to do something with Tag Duels in PvP, for example. Just because I imagine that trying to get or keep 4 people networked together would be kind of difficult. Actually, I need to focus here for a second. I do apologize. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I don't expect this to show up in the PvP side of the game anytime soon, just because, again, I imagine that trying to network 4 people together is going to be rather difficult. And especially then, you know, the situation becomes, what do you do when one person disconnects? Do you just let an AI take over them? Do you give control of their deck and cards to the partner? You know, what exactly do you do in that situation? But I hope that they run this event in the future, like, more often, because it was at least 4 or 5 months ago that the last Tag Duel Tournament was. I can't quite remember, but yeah. And not much more to say about this, really. It's, you're with a partner, you fight 2 opponents, you take turns, end of the game. So, like I promised, let's go ahead and cash in 300 coins, take 10 more prizes, see if I get anything else rare. I don't. Do get some EX gems, though. That's really cool. And the hell with it. Ooh. What rare card did I get? I got a lightning blade, something I already have dozens of copies of. Well, not dozens of copies of, but plenty of copies of. But yeah, so that was the Tag Duel Tournament. There is two more things. Well, there are two more things that I want to go over really quick about this. First off, there is a new structure deck available here in the shop, Spellbound Silence. This has some new cards, particularly a new version of Silent Magician with very powerful effect. Long story short, you have to special summon her from your hand by tributing any other spellcaster type monster you control. She cannot be special summoned in other ways. She gains 500 attack for each card in your hand, and once per turn, whenever a spell card is activated, you can just negate the activation for no cost. And finally, if she's ever destroyed in battle, or by an opponent's card effect while under your control, you can special summon any other Silent Magician monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So basically, if this Silent Magician ever dies, you can special summon the Silent Magician level 8 for no cost, and then just immediately replace one super powerful magician with one that is permanently unaffected by your opponent's spell cards and has 3,500 attack points. Pretty good card. There's also this new ultra rare gold sarcophagus. You get to banish a card from your deck face up, and then 2 turns later you add that card to your hand. But otherwise, most of these cards are available in other boxes. You can't buy the structure deck with gems, you have to spend actual money, but the first time through there is a discount of pretty much $3, so it's about 50% off. Just wanted to make you guys aware of that. But in addition, and slightly more importantly, is if we go to the notifications, there is going to be a skill rebalancing in a couple of days. Specifically, several skills, particularly skills you have to get as loot drops, are going to be adjusted. So to go through really quick, for Chaz's Draconic Fusion skill is actually being buffed. At the beginning of the duel, it just adds a Dragon's Mirror to your deck. Pretty sure this is what happens normally, but in addition to that, it also adds a 5-headed dragon to your extra deck. And if your life points decrease by 1800, instead of conducting your normal draw, you can take the Dragon's Mirror from your deck to your hand instead. You can only use it once per duel, but it does make it a little bit better because previously the second part of the effect, where you get to just take the Dragon's Mirror after you take a significant amount of damage, didn't happen. Ishizu's skill, Sealed Tombs, has been changed. I don't know what it is normally just because I don't have it, but the new version will say that until the end of your opponent's next turn, neither player can banish cards from the graveyard or special summon monsters from the graveyard. You can only use it once per turn. Mai's Harpy's Last Will has been changed. You can banish, after the change, you can banish 5 Harpy cards from your graveyard to add a Harpy's Feather Duster to your hand from outside of the deck. So in other words, it just generates you a Harpy's Feather Duster, but you can now only use it once per turn. And actually, I just want to double check up here. Yeah, so it's a little bit easier to use. Apparently, it requires some other sort of cost, so the cost has been reduced, but you only get to use it once instead of multiple times. The Posthumous Army skill, basically each time your life points decrease by 1,000, you can make all monsters on the field and in both players' graveyard zombie-type monsters. Pretty sure this is a skill for Bones, don't have it myself. Teia's Duel Standby is getting a significant nerf to prevent OTK potential. Both players' starting hands still increase by 1 card, however, the player with Duel Standby is not allowed to activate spell, trap, or monster effects on your first turn. Restart is a skill anybody can have, and basically just once after you draw your starting hand, you can choose to reveal all the cards in it and redraw. So this is particularly good if you get a very bad starting hand, like nothing but spell cards, nothing but trap cards, for example. However, after the change, if you do choose to redraw your hand, your first draw will be skipped. So you can't use it to get a really ideal hand and then draw an extra card. That just makes it even better. Balance is getting a little bit of an adjustment. Basically, your starting hand will try to reflect the card balance in your deck. However, you have to have at least 6 monster, spell, and trap cards in your deck for it to work. Grit is getting a bit of a nerf. It now says that if you had 4,000 or more life points at the start of your turn, your life points cannot fall below 1 for 1 time only. So this will save you from OTKs, however, it will only activate once per duel now. Chaz's Ojama Go is getting a little bit of a nerf, I think. Basically, when your life points decrease by 1800, you can special summon an Ojama token to your opponent's side of the field in defense position. However, you can now only use it once per turn, or once per duel, I'm sorry. Destiny Draw is getting a wonderful nerf. In addition to... Actually, no, I'm sorry. It still requires you to lose 2,000 life points before you can use it. But now, during the draw phase... Let me back up. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. When your life points decrease by 2,000, instead of conducting your normal draw for your draw phase, you can pick any card of your choice. However, you can only use Destiny Draw one time in the entire duel. So you can't heal back up, take another 2,000, and then pick any other cards you want out of your deck. Then finally, there's this extra skill. I don't know who gets it. But now, when your life points decrease by 2,000, during your draw phase, you can add an extra copy of whatever you drew for your normal draw, and the skill can only be used once per duel as well. So many of these skills are being adjusted just to keep them from getting overpowered. As we can see up here, they have the reasonings. So Draconic Fusion's getting the buff because simply adding Dragon's Mirror doesn't really do a whole lot. Sealed Tombs was made a little bit more powerful. Posthumous Army was made more powerful so that it's easier to use. Dual Standby was way too powerful, and so it has been nerfed because, as you can see, a lot of people were apparently using it to end the duel in one turn. Restart was being used by a lot of decks, and so they have added the downside to it to make it a little bit less powerful. And then Ojama Go, Destiny Draw, and Extra have basically been given a limit to prevent the number of times these skills can be used, because otherwise I guess people were using them to drag out duels or something. Not entirely sure. I never really came across these skills too much, but I just wanted to make everybody aware that as of June 17th, there will be a mandatory update that enforces all of these skill balances. Or rather, on June 17th, there will be an update that rebalances the skills. And on June 25th, it becomes mandatory to update to that version. So, there you go. But yeah, that's basically the Tag Duel Tournament, as well as a few miscellaneous things here and there that I wanted to cover. One last thing I wanted to say is that on Monday we should have a very special Duel Links video coming out. It's something I've been looking forward to a lot for quite a while, and I'm actually really excited to try and record for that. I'm not going to say too much. You'll just have to see for yourselves. But on that note, thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all had a great time, and I hope y'all have a great day. And I will see you all in the next one.